Are we ready? Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our council meeting. As we have began previously to have a tradition where we read the Indigenous land acknowledgement. As the City of Winkler, we acknowledge that we are situated on Treaty 1 land, the home of Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota, and Dene peoples in the homeland of the Métis Nation. We respect the treaties that have been made on these territories. We acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past, and we dedicate ourselves to a future based on the respect of all people, including the Indigenous communities, in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration, moving forward to a harmonious and prosperous future together. With that, be it resolved, the agenda of the regular council meeting of October the 11th, B22, be adopted. Mover?
Henry Siemens.
Seconder?
Marvin.
Are there any additions beyond what's on the agenda? We have a few the deletions, I guess. Okay, if there's nothing else, all in favor? And that's carried. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting of September 27th, 2022 be adopted. Mover?
Don Fair.
Seconder?
Greena.
Any questions, errors, or omissions in those minutes?
7.1, Scott had some concern about our addendum that we added there, right? Our amendment?
I can take a look at that.
That we added the Dickens, or the service road be paved to Dickens?
I mean, he had some questions about it, but it can be presented to the province, and, I mean, they may or may not want to do anything like that, but, like the service road.
He reminded me in the meeting that we talked about that, but I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah.
And I would say, if the province isn't prepared to give us a road in good shape, I'm not so sure that we want that road then.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and they may, their opinion might be that it's in good shape, it's just not paved. And so there we might come to some disagreement,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Okay.
the desire, I think, of this council and any council would be the more we get for our buck, the better off we are.
Yep.
So
Yep.
there's
Fair enough.
nothing wrong with asking for it.
Yep.
Sometimes you get it and sometimes you might not.
So, yeah, I think it's good the way it is there.
Okay, leave it in. Okay.
And I think, yeah, none of these were binding on our part that
That's
we're
right.
gonna do it. We'll enter
The
negotiations.
resolution was to explore,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that, yeah, but that is something we should keep in mind when we do that. Yeah, that's a very good point.
But I would, again, with the costs that we already have maintaining what we already have, and to transfer a gravel road into the city of Winkler, I wouldn't be comfortable with that.
Right.
That might be one that I believe we should stand firm on. If you want us to assume that road, you have to give us a road consistent with the roads within the city of Winkler.
Right, yep.
and just to go back to the resolution,
Industrial Drive.
it isn't the province that's asking to have us take over that one. That's us asking if they would.
That should be
want
part of
us
the
to.
package that.
Absolutely, and it will be, yeah.
Okay.
And it does make the development easier when you're dealing with anything that is on city road and beyond, rather than considering it to be highway frontage. So.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for bringing that up. You're okay with that?
Yep.
Okay, all in favor? And that is carried. Then for correspondence, we have the letter here from the Winkler Community Foundation, their annual Giving Challenge letter. We have participated with that in years past, and they're asking again if we would match the province and the Winnipeg Foundation's commitment to fund 1.5 of the, up to a maximum of $2,000. So would we, as a city, be prepared to make that recommendation?
I think it falls very much in line with the work that we're involved in and supporting with Central Station and so on. It's something that is something that I think that we would do well to continue to support.
Okay,
We need a
Any
motion. I'd be happy to make
opposition?
that.
Sure.
any opposition?
No, I think
No?
it makes sense.
Okay, well, we could do that right now if you want.
Sure.
To acknowledge the letter and make a motion that we contribute up to $2,000 matching funds.
I'd be happy to make that.
Marvin made the,
I'll second it.
and Don, thank you.
I
All
would
in favor?
I
Whoops.
would assume, Jody, that we have a budget line that we would have room to do that in.
Correct.
All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Talking about budget line, going to finance, be it resolved that the accounts payable in the amount of $1,561,924.26 as approved by the Finance Committee be approved for payment. Mover,
Henry Siemens?
seconder,
Andrew?
and there's the check register. Any questions in regards to the check register that we haven't already clarified? Hearing none, all in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that the Finance Committee minutes for the September 28th, 2022 meeting be adopted. Mover,
Henry Siemens?
seconder,
Andrew?
and any discussion regarding those minutes? I know for the first one, we were very delighted to see that we had choices as far as our auditors are concerned, and the bids that came in were fairly significantly different. And the fact that the one that was chosen actually already does audits for a number of the municipalities around. So that, I think, was a good find. And then second on there is obviously in regards to the high cost of inflation and the adjustment on the salaries and CPIs. The decision there was that we would recommend kind of splitting the inflation number that is there in half, and then using that as a COLA, and taking the balance of it, accumulation of the balance of that, what it would be overall, and use that as a one-time fund adjustment, and every individual working for the city on a full-time basis would receive the same amount. It didn't matter what your salary was, because to go to fill up with the tank of gas and to get your groceries, the hardship on those who are on the lower spectrum is much greater. So that's the reason why we chose to just level that piece of it out, and that it doesn't become a part of the future salary level, but it's an adjustment for this year, so.
This isn't finalized though yet, is it?
No, but that's what we're proposing here. But we're adopting these minutes, then it is
Right.
finalized, right?
Was proposed.
Right.
But yeah, okay.
So that it comes to council.
Yep.
If we adopt these minutes, it becomes finalized.
I think it was
Right.
proposed to the new council.
Ah, okay. My bad.
So we're just passing it along to them as recommendation from existing finance committee to the new one.
Okay. So we, as a council, then
Yep.
recommend it to.
Making
the
the
council.
recommendation, yeah.
Okay. We better recommend it because we won't be here.
I'm in.
Highly recommend.
I will
Lift your
secondly
hand
highly
high.
recommend.
There you go. Okay. All right.
Go team.
So done? All in favor? That's carried for them adopting the minutes. Be it resolved that the attached utility arrears be added to the respective tax rolls. Mover,
Harmon?
seconder,
Andrew?
any questions regarding that list?
How does that compare to other years, do you know?
It looks
It's-
down
it's-
about.
To me, I thought this time was down.
It looked
Yeah,
down.
it's, I don't know the exact number, but
Mhm.
not, I didn't think it was significant, but yeah,
Mhm.
But it's
Down
it's
from-
been over 30
yeah.
different times.
Mhm.
And we've
I
got
can get you
a
that
longer
number.
list as well. I think in both instances,
Right.
it was down this time,
Mhm.
which is
So-
really good to see.
Yeah,
Dollar value was down too?
Yeah,
yeah, from,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah. Yeah, it's good to know.
Okay, so all in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that Winkler Fire Department report for September 2022 be received for information. Mover,
Michael?
seconder,
Don?
any questions regarding that report? Hearing none, all in favor? That is carried. If I could ask one question in regards to the financial report, I was going to ask it before, but I just forgot. Do you know kind of what percentage we're at now for 2022 taxes paid versus I know we got an update the last time around, but just curious if,
Yeah, last time it was right around 90. I
Awesome.
think within a week later, we were up around 94 to 95.
right.
Yeah.
And the other good news is that we will not have a tax sale this year. So all the taxes in arrears have been paid. And I will add again, in the 16 years that I've sat here, we have never had a tax sale.
That's right.
I don't think there's very many communities that can say that they haven't had a tax sale in that long a time. So we have a strong community. Be it resolved that the Pembina Valley Water Co-op minutes for the September 23rd, 2022 meeting be received for information. Mover?
Marvin?
Seconder?
Andrew?
Any questions other than the ones that I have?
Well, why don't we run through yours, Martin? I think we probably have the same one.
I think
Yeah.
you do. Well, I'm very proud of you, Marvin, that you voted against that motion.
Yeah, and it was, we had a good discussion, and I think because there are some small communities, and I tried to, and first of all, thanks to Jody and Scott for meeting and working this out, but try to say that some of the proposals that we had would actually help. It's when we're increasing rates, we're not just doing it for new, like it costs to maintain and so on. So, and I think the fact that there was actually, was it 3 or 4 of us now opposed to it, and pretty big suppliers or users, they're going to look at it more again on that one, and then especially the thing about working towards future planning and so on. The other one that we talked about, and I think that originally there wasn't much uptake for a lot of these communities, but I think things have to be explained a little bit more, and people will realize it. It seemed to, from what the CEO was saying there, that some municipalities really weren't quite aware of the fact that we're a co-op. Each of us is actually a member. It's not that we're just taking water from this organization. So it's, you know, and I guess when things go kind of well and you're a small community and you don't take much water, then it's all good. And then when it gets to be a little heavier, then people ask more questions. So I think we'll be
I'm
able
curious
work
to see what, like, how they're gonna implement this. I don't know.
Well, yeah, like the idea, like in first place, like it won't affect any community that's not taking more water right away.
Okay.
So it doesn't affect us
Okay.
until we need more. And so then how would they? Yeah, and it's an easy one for any small community that takes all their water and so we get 3 new houses. So, but for a bigger community, when we
Right.
approve a subdivision. So that might be the time to talk about it, so on. So
And
Well,
for them, it'll be other new hookups to their main distribution system. And for Winkler, because we don't need new hookups and we aren't purchasing more water than previous agreements, it actually won't affect us. And I think what we talked about is how can PVWC do this in a way that all municipalities contribute, like you were saying at the beginning, because all would be responsible to contribute to renewal, even aside from growth. And that was one of the points that you went there with, is that we all need to be involved with renewal.
yeah, and I think, and I made that clear. I made that point. I said we are not opposed to paying more to keep this thing going, but the way it's running now, we're not going to pay more. And so they're not getting, from one of their large user, they're not getting an increase. So
Help me understand that then. The hookup proposal, the way it was originally presented to us, was every new water customer
yeah,
in each municipality, meaning every build Winkler has, would have a hookup fee.
yeah.
Right.
And then,
That is
after,
now not the case?
no, after we met, then we said, well, yeah, you're not taking any more, so that doesn't make sense for us to take, to charge you for it. So
Right.
once we go, let's say if we would, but we don't incrementally increase, right? Like, we don't, just because we build 10 new houses, doesn't mean that we use any more water from water co-op. But we would if we
Those
didn't
minutes
have our.
aren't clear then.
Not
Because
at all.
even after
It's true.
read those minutes, I was still thinking you went back to the discussion, even when I went to
Yeah.
the meeting and made my case, like,
Okay, well, yeah, I guess I
So
just
the,
understood.
So
what,
I-
the way
I
it
like
was,
to see
because
those-
when we grow and have a new subdivision, it does not involve a new hookup
Yeah.
to the Pembina Valley Water Distribution System.
Exactly.
okay, then please
Right.
give us some
It's
clarification.
into our distribution system, and so it involves 0 new hookups. So any hookups that are to our distribution system, this fee does not apply to.
Right.
Can I
And so
get that-
Winkler wouldn't even be involved in this program at all.
But can I then get it clarified? Just say direct hookups into the Pembina Valley water system? Because I want to be on record as saying that we are not, every time there's a hookup to our line, because that's originally what they asked for. And we did the numbers, and they were huge. But
Yeah.
if it's a direct hookup, I have no problem. But if it's worded the way it is now, I think there's a problem.
Yep, I
And I
agree.
think the piece that we see here, sorry to interrupt, Don, the piece that we see here says as presented in the meeting package. We don't have the opportunity to see
Right,
the meeting
that's right.
package. There's two
Yeah.
pieces here that I have concern with, without clarity. The CEO's report was in the meeting package. We don't see that, so we're not sure what's involved there. And then specifically this hookup fee, as one of the largest partners slash customers of the Pembina Valley Water Co-op, to say a hookup fee proposal as presented in the meeting package without an opportunity to see what that
Yeah,
is.
makes sense.
I will struggle to support accepting these minutes as presented without that additional information.
Right.
Yeah, see, we're not adopting them, but I want to go on record that we are concerned about that. We want clarification, and we want those two items addressed.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the amount of detail that's involved in that meeting package should also come to us if this level of discussion and decision is being made.
Yep.
there.
Agreed.
It's
Yep.
vital
Sure.
that we have
Yeah.
that information.
Yep.
Did they give you that information, like at the
Yeah, we,
meeting?
we had it, yeah, we would have had it. See if I can share it with you at least.
Okay, well,
But again.
if those two are
it has-
duly noted in the minutes,
Yeah.
and because my mind, when I read that, and it went back to the meeting that we were at, and I said, oh my stars, we lost
Yeah.
another one.
No, we didn't. It
Thank
was,
you.
Okay.
That was what they said. It's not going to affect us, and I said, but we want to contribute to capital, but we won't now.
And I think that was part of, correct me if I'm wrong, Marvin, but part of your opposition was to find a more consistent way to provide funding to reserves to PVWC to pay for renewal, so that all municipalities that are using water contribute to renewal.
Yep.
Hookup fees, where there's growth, that can pay for growth,
Right.
and all municipalities should pay for renewal.
Yeah,
Yep.
no different than what we do right now in
Right.
our
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, but our problem.
asset management.
Right, and our problem with the water co-op has been that we don't have a reserve. I think that question was asked before. We never had a reserve. We're always behind the 8 ball, and so that is one thing we need to build a reserve. And I think there's common feelings to that, but that will mean an increase in fees. So we want to have it, but we don't want to pay for it.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
but
with
certainly
that
I'll-
We'll note,
clarification
those things
and
for the-
duly
for the
noted,
minutes, yeah.
all in favor? That's carried. No? You have to raise your
Siemens?
hand, or you?
Siemens.
I am accepting them only as information. I'm not yet
Right.
comfortable that we have all of the information, so.
Yeah. Well,
I'll
that's all we're doing.
Yeah.
We're not approving anything.
We'll see where that goes. I'm not comfortable with what I see there today.
Well, hopefully you're
Yeah,
there to
so-
resolve it. Okay.
Fair enough.
I think, yeah, in this case, it would have been nice to have a little more detail
Yep.
on that, just for the minutes, just so.
Okay, well,
Yeah, we can do
the
that.
only reason I
Yeah.
voted in favor of these minutes is because we've clearly identified where our needs are.
Yeah. And I've clearly stated them.
Okay, appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Going on, be it resolved that the planning committee meeting minutes for September 22nd, 2022 meeting be adopted. Mover,
Henry Siemens?
seconder?
Don Fair.
Any questions of the planning committee minutes? In camera and otherwise? All in favor? It's carried.
Sorry, the draft ISA, like, that's simply a draft still, that's not
Yeah.
approving the draft?
No.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you. Sorry,
There's stuff they're working on.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Be it resolved that bylaw number 2289-22, maximum speed limit bylaw be given second reading. Mover,
Andrew?
seconder?
Marvin?
All in favor? That is carried. Be it resolved that bylaw 2289-22, maximum speed limit bylaw be given third and final reading. Mover,
Michael.
seconder?
Don.
Any questions? All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that South Central Regional Library minutes for the September 22nd, 2022 meeting be received for information. Mover,
Marvin?
seconder?
Michael.
Any questions?
This is June?
All in favor?
Oh, wait,
No,
this,
this is September.
oh. Oh, the June one's just in there for, oh, okay, I see.
A lot of material there.
Lot of
They do a
material.
detailed report.
They do a
if you-
detailed
always
report.
do.
Yeah, so if we got a detailed report on a water quote, you would be happy.
Yes, yeah.
So
Yes.
we're just receiving these as information as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
All in favor? That's carried. Be it resolved that Pembina Valley Local Immigration Partnership meeting minutes for September 15th, 2022 meeting be received for information. Mover,
Karina,
seconder?
Michael.
Any questions or any explanation, Karina?
just a thank you to everybody that serves on that committee. There's a lot of work that gets done around there, and, yeah. Good luck to the next rep that steps in for that position.
All right. All in favor? That's carried. Be it resolved that Winkler Resource Committee minutes of September 27th, 2022 meeting be received for information. Mover,
Karina,
seconder?
I'll help out, Don.
Okay,
Thank
Don,
you.
thank you. Any questions regarding the Resource Committee?
we are shifting there a little bit, and we're trying to be much more strategic in how to have some action points at the end of those meetings. It's an amazing organization that has all the different not-for-profits around the table, and so often we leave knowing what other organizations are doing or struggling with and so on, but there's never action points, and so this gives us the opportunity to have action points to move towards something greater
Right.
together. So it's
Okay.
going to be an amazing, whoever gets to sit in my position on that committee moving forward, I'm very jealous of. That's an amazing committee.
Awesome. Thanks again for
Yep.
those services you've provided.
Yeah.
All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that Community Services Committee minutes for October the 11th, 2022 meeting be received for information. Mover,
Andrew?
seconder?
Karina,
Any questions regarding those minutes?
No questions, but
no questions?
are you making a comment?
Very excited to have the team support and to support the proposal and the new project for offering feminine hygiene products at no charge in all of our civic centers and all of our community centers. And so I'm very excited to announce that in our community. That's going to be an amazing an amazing opportunity and a good step towards gender equity. And I'm very excited to be a part of it and to lead the province in this. There's some other big cities that are doing stuff like this, and Toronto and some other big cities, and so we will be the first one in the province of Manitoba, and I'm very excited about it. So thank you
Well-
to the staff that are willing to support it, and to the gentlemen that sit around this table that might not be impacted by it, but I appreciate the support in it, because it is actually, feminine hygiene products are the same as toilet paper. They should be treated that way. So thank you for your support in that.
And on behalf of council, I want to say thank you for bringing that to our attention. And as you well know, that we probably don't spend a lot of time in there. But just appreciate your involvement and what you brought to the table and to bring this thing forward. And I think as council, I want to say we're proud to be able to support it
Thank you.
and look forward to having those services available.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your lead on that.
Of course.
Yep. All right, all in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that the meeting of council recess for the purpose of holding a public hearing. Mover,
Karina.
seconder.
Michael?
All in favor? Carried. Jody?
Okay, we have a public hearing for variation or variance application number VA 2022-034. The purpose is in order to construct an addition to a single-unit dwelling built 14 feet from the front property line. The variance requested is to reduce the front yard setback from 22.77 feet to 10.5 feet in the R3 zone. This is for building located at 219 3rd Street, and the applicant and owner here is Mark Fair. And so you've got the supporting documents available on your agenda package, and our office has not received any objections to this application. And staff are recommending approval subject to staking certificate or building location certificate.
Okay. And Mark, you're okay with that? Okay. Having not heard anything, council, any concerns? No concerns here? Be it resolved that public hearing for variation number VA 2022-034 be closed. Mover,
Karina.
seconder.
Marvin?
All in favor? That is carried. Be it resolved that council approve the variance number VA 2022-034, subject to the applicant obtaining a surveyor staking certificate or a building location certificate prior to issuance of a development permit. Mover,
Henry Siemens?
seconder,
Don Fair?
and all in favor? And that is carried. Happy investing.
There? Yeah. Good.
Be it resolved that public hearings be adjourned and regular council reconvene. Mover,
Michael?
seconder,
Don?
all in favor? That's carried. We do not have any other additions. We don't have any other business. There is no media. So therefore, the next item, be it resolved, this regular meeting of council be adjourned. Mover,
Karina.
seconder,
Michael?
all in favor? Carried. Council meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, guys.